Hey, welcome to Wicked Paint. Today we're going to compare a cheap eBay airbrush to an Iwata Eclipse HP-BCS. Let's see if the cheap eBay airbrush has got what it takes to put down some nice lines and see if it can actually paint. I've got some black paint here, which is sort of a Createx mixed down, thinned down a little bit, and let's see if this airbrush can actually spray. Test number 1. Can it spray a line? Not bad. The trigger is actually not too bad, it's actually quite smooth. Test number 2. Dagger strokes. Can it put down? As I'm noticing here, it's not a very smooth gradation. You can see it goes from very thick, and then I get this little weird hairline down the end here. Let's see if I can fix that up. Yeah, I keep getting these really weird lines at the end of my strokes. It's feeling quite strange. Yeah, if you can see that, I'm getting these really weird sort of thin lines at the ends of my strokes where it seems like the nozzle and needle aren't really closing properly. Yeah. Yeah, the airbrush definitely feels a bit weird, where I'm getting all these sort of tapering lines and dotted lines as well, where the needle and nozzle seem that don't really quite close properly. The trigger feels quite smooth, so I'm quite surprised by that. And it seems to have a bit of a Badger sort of construction to it, where it almost feels like the Badger 150 or the 155. Apart from that, it's also called, this particular airbrush is called Voilamart, and it's only cost about 20 Australian dollars, but I'm not sure whether that's quite worth it. So let's put on the Iwata airbrush and then see how that does. I seem to have a little bit of a problem. I'm trying to take my airbrush off my nozzle, and it seems like the trigger assembly has come out completely out of the airbrush by accident, where I was just trying to take the hose off. Whoops. Uh-oh. Not sure if I can get that quite back in there. I can see all the trigger assembly and oh boy, the airbrush has just come apart on me. At least not the parts that I want to come apart. Alright, now I've got my Iwata in. Let's see how the Iwata sprays. So with the Iwata, the first thing I always do is take off the crown cap, and this enables me to get much finer lines and sharper edges to my lines. With the eBay airbrush, you can't actually do this because the crown cap and nozzle is actually one piece. So you can't actually get those really super fine lines easily, and they'll always be a little bit fuzzy on the edges of your lines. I also find that with the Iwata, the quality is always there. I've bought numerous Iwata airbrushes and never had an issue, and this particular one is about 5 years old. And even after changing the needle and nozzle a couple of times due to user error, it's still painting really well and is always dependable with a little bit of maintenance. And with the Iwata, you can see that my dagger strokes are a lot smoother, and then I don't get these really weird hairlines coming out the end of my strokes as well, where the paint just seems to keep coming out of the nozzle and needle assembly. So all in all, I think the eBay airbrush, while it works pretty well, and if you're painting models or something basic, this airbrush will do quite well. Whereas if you want to get lots and lots of detail and do fine illustrations, I think Iwata is your best bet. In the box with a eBay airbrush, you also get this paint jar, this little wrench to pull off the nozzle assembly, and a little siphon fade side mount cup, and also a little airbrush holder on the side there as well. So if you don't mind your airbrushes being a little bit flimsy and your needle valve assembly, your trigger valve assembly sort of coming apart on you, then this airbrush is probably not so bad, but you can definitely tell the quality is not quite there. Let me see if I can get this back on. So let's pull this in so you can get a better look at this. So you can see how with my dagger strokes on the cheap eBay airbrush, the paint just keeps coming and you get these really weird lines at the end of your strokes. Whereas with the Iwata, you get these really clean sort of dagger strokes where they don't go out too far and they just end exactly where you want them to. And the same with these as well. You can see the Iwata is a lot smoother, whereas the eBay airbrush, it goes down gets to a point and then the paint just keeps coming in and you get these really weird lines at the end of your strokes. So you can see for illustration, the eBay airbrush is not quite that great, whereas the Iwata gives you that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.